Angry youths burn suspected cultists to death in Plateau. Kano Anti-Graft Agency admits 16,800 repackaged rice bags belong to philanthropist. Army ties investigative journalist Fisayo Shumombo's arrest to oil bunkering. Congolese opposition leader said Kikuni sentenced for inciting civil disobedience. Hello and welcome to Trust TV's news update. I am Chiamaka Nwafo. Thank you for joining us. Angry youths on Friday arrested and burned suspected cult members to death in Jenta Adamu community of Jos North local government area of Plateau State. The State Police Command has totally condemned the act by the angry youths. The spokesman of the State Police Command, DSP Alabo Alfred, who confirmed the incident to newsmen, said the incident happened around 9:20 a.m. and warned citizens to desist from taking laws into their hands. Although the police didn't give the number of the victims, sources from the area said 2 victims were killed. 2 locally fabricated pistols believed to belong to the unidentified cult members were recovered from the scene. Over in Kano State, the Public Complaints and Anti-Corruption Commission, PCACC, has officially withdrawn from the high-profile investigation into the alleged diversion and rebarging of rice palliatives in the state. The announcement was made by the Commission's chairman, Muyi Magaji, during a press briefing on Wednesday. At the briefing, Magaji explained that fresh findings have led the Commission to conclude that the rice in question belongs to a private individual, not the federal government or the general public. Controversy began when reports surfaced that sacks of rice bearing the president's image and the inscription "Not for sale" were being rebarged into generic sacks allegedly to be sold in the open market. Despite this, Magaji confirmed that the Commission's scope of authority had reached its limit after the new ownership claims were substantiated. Magaji emphasized the Commission's commitment to transparency and accountability, but noted that it will not act beyond its mandate. The case has sparked widespread public outcry, with many questioning the rebargaining process and its implications for the integrity of government palliative programs. A devastating boat accident was reported on Friday morning along the Dambu-Ebuchi sections of River Niger, resulting in the loss of multiple lives. According to eyewitnesses, the boat, which belonged to one Musa Dangana, was carrying over 200 passengers, including market women and farmer laborers, en route to the Kacha weekly market. The boat tragically capsized, throwing all on board into the water. Rescue efforts were currently underway, with local divers working to recover the bodies of the victims at press time. Latest reports say 8 bodies have been recovered, while search and rescue operations continue to locate the remaining passengers. Preliminary reports indicate that none of the passengers were wearing life jackets at the time of the accident, which may have contributed to the high number of casualties. Meanwhile, authorities have yet to release an official statement on the incident, but an investigation is expected to be launched to determine the cause of the accident. The Nigerian Army has confirmed that investigative journalist Fisayo Shumombo is in its custody. The Foundation for Investigative Journalism, FIJ, has earlier reported that the 6th Division of the Nigerian Army in Port Harcourt has been detaining Shumombo for 3 days running. Confirming this in a statement on Friday, the acting Deputy Director of 6th Division Army Public Relations, Lieutenant Colonel Danjuma, narrated what led to Shoyombo's detention. Danjuma said the incident followed intelligence regarding a notorious gang of oil thieves involved in pipeline sabotage and illegal oil connections in the region. According to him, Shoyombo, alongside other suspects arrested at the site, are currently undergoing preliminary investigations. Meanwhile, the Media Rights Agenda, MRA, has condemned Shoyombo's detention. In a statement issued in Lagos, MRA's program officer, John Badamosi, argued that the Nigerian army lacks the authority to arrest or detain civilians. MRA therefore called on President Tinubu as Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces to restrain the Nigerian army and other military authorities and ensure that they desist from this recurring abuse of their powers and disregard for the Constitution and other laws as they continue to portray Nigeria as a lawless society. Over in Ogun State, the Chief Judge Justice Mosumola Dikweolu has sworn in a 9-member local government election petition tribunal to adjudicate over petitions emanating from the November 16th local government election in the state. Swearing in the members, Justice Dikweolu said the exercise is in accordance with the provisions of Sections 85 to Sections 1 and 3 of the Electoral Law of Ogun State. She challenged them to approach each case with diligence and an unwavering commitment to uncover the truth, as a responsibility bestowed upon them is both challenging and rewarding. Justice Dikweolu also urged them to embrace the task before them with humility, courage and dedication and serve not just the parties before them, but the people of the state and indeed the Federal Republic of Nigeria. She asked them to be dedicated, shun all forms of corrupt practices, and uphold the principles of fairness, equity, and the rule of law. In recent times, Nigeria's democratic landscape has been facing several setbacks as a result of the dysfunctional structures of its political parties. This not only impedes the ability of parties to function effectively and inclusively, but also undermines the democratic processes. Noel Sampson has been speaking with representatives of civil society and members of political parties on what could be done to change the narrative. Here's his report.
Lack of structures and systems to support inclusive decision-making and long-term planning, marginalized groups, including women, young people, and persons with disabilities, financial opacity, and the absence of accountability are some of the challenges highlighted by the stakeholders.
One of the key problems that political parties are having in Nigeria is the fact that they have continuously been alienated from the people. We observe that political parties over time usually will go to sleep, become inactive after elections and only become active towards the next election. Another problem is legal compliance. Political parties have their internal constitution. They also came together to have the code of conduct that is supposed to guide their conduct. But unfortunately, the code of conduct doesn't seem to be working.
The stakeholders also highlighted how the performance of political parties can be enhanced and how effective ideological-driven opposition can be built within political parties.
Political party work is a lot of work, and it must be hinged on accountability. It must be hinged on transparency. It must be hinged on inclusion. Political parties are the ones that must show willingness to help themselves to grow, to entrench themselves, by opening up to become more inclusive, so that women, young people, persons with disability will want to become members.
I think the best way to enhance the political performance of most especially of political parties is to see that number one, they are held accountable to the standard at which they subscribe to, and that talks about the constitution, the electoral act, their own party constitution, and also the INEC guideline. And so one of the things we need to begin to look at is that what are those things they need to comply with? Are they complying with that? And then we need to begin to showcase this. In the past, nobody cares about the political party, whether they are doing what they should do or not.
Ideology can be improved upon, and once the people, the electorate, should be taken along. In this line, we talk about inclusivity. If you include the people, you go down the grassroots. You cannot operate politics within the city, and you relegate the people at the ward. For you to take the parties forward is for you to go down the grassroots. You cannot just canvas of a very better political party. Without this inclusivity, women, the children, the young ones, so to say.
A healthy, resilient democracy is based on inclusiveness, which political parties and representative institutions are in key position to safeguard. Well, Samson, Trust TV News, Abuja.
The Director General of the World Trade Organization, Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala, has been reappointed as head of the organization. The World Trade body hinged her leadership on breaking logjams at the sclerotic institution through craft, dynamism, and sheer force of personality. The 70-year-old World Bank veteran and trailblazer was Nigeria's first woman finance minister and is the first woman and the first African to run the WTO. With her style and disdain for red tape, she positioned herself as someone who could get heads together and get business done. Okonjo-Iweala has pulled off some breakthroughs at the global trade body, notably selling a long-stall deal and curbing subsidies from harmful fishing practices. But now, she must steer the WTO through the U.S. presidency of Donald Trump, who paralyzed the organization in his first term and opposed her initial candidacy for the leadership. A 27-member executive of the Ariwa community in Lagos State has been officially inaugurated into various offices. At the inauguration ceremony, the elected members were urged to work in synergy and be sure there is unity among the Ariwa people and indigenes of the state. Victoria Tokolo has more on this report is presented from our studio.
Among the items of the to-do list of this executive is the need to maintain peace and unity in Lagos State between the North and South. The ceremony, which took place at the APC Secretariat in Ikeja, had in attendance prominent figures of Northern and Southern extraction. Addressing journalists, the chairman of the Ariwa community, Saadu Yusuf, urged the inaugurated executive to be of good conduct, ensure peace and unity, and also carry members along.
My general advice for Nigerians is to unite ourselves and become one. When we become one, we remove sentiment, ethnicity, religious barrier. Inshallah, Nigeria will be better for us.
Well, it's a known fact that everyone saddled with the responsibility of leadership should take note of, carrying everyone along. As leaders, this is the first time in the entire history of the Ariwa people in Lagos that such is happening. So it's time for them to bring the whole of Ariwa community together so as to bring about development in our political space and also economical space.
My advice to everybody, each and every leader that is being honored today, to work as the Ariwa community leader, to be respectful, to be there to people, because they are serving people. So let it be, everybody should be carried along, because politics is about people.
Other members of the community also spoke on the inauguration and what is expected of the elected leaders.
Well, Lagos is a small Nigeria, and that's why some of us find comfort in this town. And that's why some of us were product, and that's why every day when there are issues that have to do with us, the other people, I come forward even when I stay more in other part of the country, because Lagos has become home to all of us. Lagos groom all of us. So for us, we see Lagos as home.
What I've advised today is they have been inaugurated today. They shouldn't see it as a position that will distract them from the journey where they are. They've been on good, track. They should never derail, and they shouldn't forget where they are coming from. Like I always say, my heart still remains where my community is.
Say anything where is small before. Like when you want to building, if you want to put one block, number one, number two, you go straight to tomorrow to put another one. But if you build at least 10 buildings, one day you go scatter them. To put them back, easy. The Nigeria scattered before. You just enter. As you enter, so you won't do them back. So everybody go make question and do small.
The newly inaugurated members were enjoined to set aside all forms of discrimination and stay focused in the task of delivering on their responsibilities for the progress and unity of the Ariwa people of Lagos State.
Over in Lagos State, residents have decried the surge in plastic waste, especially nylon bags, and their attendant effect on the environment and human health. With an estimated population of over 22 million people, residents say the used nylon bags and other plastic waste play a huge role in the degradation of the environment, hence the need to arrest the situation. Victoria Tokolo has more details, and this report is presented from our studio.
This quantity of plastic bags you have here is just an individual's collection in few weeks. If multiplied by the over 22 million people living in Lagos, one can clearly see that the environmental disaster is waiting to happen. Environmentalists warn that if not checked, it could lead to complete damage of the ecosystem in areas with such huge amounts of plastic waste. Residents are worried about the danger the world faces with increasing disposal of plastic waste into the environment, as well as the misuse of it by citizens, particularly in Lagos State.
All these things is our government action. We need to work on it. If government work on it, every environment will be neat. It's work of the government. Because those people that drop the revenue on ground, there is no penalty. If there is no penalty, there is nothing people can do. But assuming that penalty is a half penalty, those people are dropping waste, nylon, everything on the ground. If we give them arrested, so tomorrow we cannot do such a thing again.
Don't have maintenance culture, and it's not only us, even the government needs to do something concerning this waste problem, especially all these nylon bags and dead all over the place. They need to put certain things in the appropriate place, like a waste bin. The local government, the federal government, the state government should do something. They should put waste bin all over the place so that, and then sanitize people.
Other residents spoke on ways government can arrest the surge in plastic waste, not just in Lagos, but across the nation.
It's a kind of a self-discipline. Most of Nigerians doesn't have self-discipline. You know, by the time you have a self-discipline from your house, that you know that just don't litter anywhere within your own compound as well. So by the time you come to the public place, you will have that courtesy of not reaching the environment.
My advice to our government is that if they can generate this discipline, because some people, we Nigerians, we are too dirty. Some did not care. They eat anyhow and they drop their nylon anyhow. Like if you are going from here to Ekiti, you will reach some place. Army was there. If you eat anything, you must not drop it. If you drop it, the army will delay the motor you enter, or all the people there, they will come down, they will give them room to sweep. So if our government can try to even this discipline, if they can generate it all over Nigeria.
It is estimated that out of the 8.3 billion metric tons of waste produced, 6.3 billion metric tons is plastic waste, and of that quantity, only 9% has been recycled, leaving remaining 91% in the environment. Although the exact quantity Nigeria contributes to this global menace cannot be tracked. A look into the environment gives a clue into how we, the country, is not insulated from threats posed by the indiscriminate dumping of plastic waste into the environment.
In business, the Nigerian Midstream and Downstream Petroleum Regulatory Authority has said its commitment to resolve contentious regarding the implementation of wholesale supply operations of natural gas and petroleum liquid regulations in the country. It also said concerns related to the 0.5% levy imposed by the Midstream Downstream Gas Infrastructure Fund will be re-evaluated to address the challenges in complying with the Petroleum Industry Act. The NMDPRA Authority Chief, Farouk Ahmed, gave this assurance at the stakeholder sensitization program on the requirements, opportunities and value of wholesale gas and petroleum liquid supply operations held at its headquarters in Abuja. At the meeting, wholesale natural gas producers and suppliers in the gas sector lamented the implementation of 0.05% levy charged by the Nigerian Midstream and Downstream Petroleum Regulatory Authority. While NMDPRA argues that the gas infrastructure development fees should be collected by wholesale gas suppliers and remitted to the authority, operators contend it's the responsibility of the regulator to collect the fees. The suppliers under the aegis of the Oil Producers Trade section explained that the implementation of the 0.5% MDGI levy was not possible due to several factors. However, from Nigeria, a Congolese opposition politician has been sentenced to 1 year in prison for inciting civil disobedience in what his political party described as the government's blatant attempt to silence its critics. A Kinshasa court said on Wednesday evening that Seth Kikuni, president of the political party Piste pour l'Emergence, was found guilty of inciting disobedience and spreading false rumors during a September rally in Lubumbashi in the southwest of the Democratic Republic of the Congo. Kikuni's lawyer said he would appeal the court's decision. In September, Kikuni told his supporters at a rally that they should not be afraid and should oppose re-elected President Felix Tshisekedi, whom he accused of falsifying the election results. Kikuni was arrested in Kinshasa on September 2nd by agents of the National Intelligence Agency before being handed over to a judge and transferred to Makala Central Prison in Kinshasa, known for its overcrowding and poor conditions. His lawyers have pleaded not guilty, arguing that Mr. Kikuni was acting in his capacity as an opposition politician. And in sports, the National Sports Commission of Nigeria has officially reinstated Ambassador Paul Maduako as the president of the Nigerian Amputee Football Federation, NAF, following a decision not to accept his recent resignation. In a statement issued on Friday, the Commission emphasized that Ambassador Maduako's leadership remains critical during this pivotal period for the sport's growth and transformation in Nigeria. The Commission lauded Ambassador Maduako's contributions to the development of amputee football in Nigeria, crediting his vision and efforts for the Federation's rising profile on the global stage. It further reiterated its commitment to supporting his continued leadership in advancing the sport. The move has been met with widespread approval within the sports community, with stakeholders praising the decision as a step toward ensuring the sustained growth and success of amputee football in the country. That concludes news updates at this time. For more of our news programs and documentaries, do follow us on our social media platforms and on our YouTube live stream. I am Chiamaka Nwafo. Thank you for joining us at this time. Good evening.